She never hit me again. When I was 8 years old, my grandma basically ran the house during the day because my parents worked until like 6 at night. Back then, hitting kids wasn't just normal, it was basically expected. If you didn't spank your kids, people thought you were a bad parent. My grandma had this system worked out. Whenever I did something wrong, she'd make me walk to the kitchen, pick out a wooden spoon from the drawer, bring it back to her, and hold out my hand. Then she'd smack my palm with it. Hard. Like really hard. I learned pretty quick that the small spoons hurt way more. They were thinner, so all the force went into one spot and it stung like crazy. The big serving spoons didn't hurt as much because they spread out the hit more. But here's the thing. If I picked too small of a spoon, grandma would hit even harder, like she was punishing me for trying to be sneaky. One Tuesday after school, I was home alone with her watching cartoons. My dad had this little glass thing on the coffee table that my mom gave him. It was like a mini garden inside a glass case with rocks and moss and water. He loved that thing. Somehow it got knocked over and broke. Glass everywhere. I have no idea how it happened. Maybe I bumped the table when I got up. Maybe the cat did it. I honestly don't know. But grandma heard the crash and came running in. She took one look at the broken glass and went, "You broke your father's gift." I immediately said I didn't do it. I really don't think I did, but she wasn't hearing it. She kept saying I was lying and that I needed to take responsibility. I kept saying I didn't break it. We went back and forth for like 5 minutes. Then I made a huge mistake. I got mouthy with her. I said something like, "Why do you always blame me for everything?" That was it. Her face went red and she pointed toward the kitchen. "Go get a spoon." I was so angry I was shaking. I'd gotten the spoon probably 50 times before, but this time felt different. This time I didn't even do anything wrong. I walked into the kitchen and opened the drawer. I looked at all the spoons laid out there. Then I got an idea. I picked the thinnest wooden spoon I could find. One of those old ones that was already kind of worn down. I held it at both ends and pushed my knee into the middle as hard as I could. It cracked. Not all the way through, but enough that I could feel it was weak. I carefully lined up the broken parts so it looked normal and walked back into the living room. My heart was pounding so hard I thought she could hear it. I handed her the spoon. She squinted at it because her glasses were crazy thick and she could barely see. She noticed it was a thin spoon though, and I could see her getting even more mad. Then I did something I'd never done before. I looked her right in the eyes. Not scared, not apologizing, just angry. She saw that look and completely lost it. She grabbed my wrist and raised the spoon up high. Then she brought it down as hard as she'd ever hit me. The spoon snapped clean in half. The handle part went flying across the room. I didn't even have to fake it. I started screaming at the top of my lungs, not because it hurt that bad, because I knew what she was thinking. I ran to my room and slammed the door. I could hear her out there picking up the pieces of the spoon. She didn't come after me. She didn't yell for me to come back. Nothing. I stayed in my room until my parents got home around 6:30. I heard the front door open and my dad asking where I was. Then I heard my grandma's voice and she sounded really upset. I cracked my door open to listen. She was telling them what happened, but her version was that she'd hit me so hard she broke the spoon. I heard her say, "I had no idea I hit him that hard. I don't know what came over me. Christ have mercy. I'm so sorry." She actually sounded like she was crying. My mom asked if I was okay and grandma said I'd been in my room since it happened. My dad went quiet. Then he said, "Maybe we need to find a different way to handle things." My mom came to check on me. She asked to see my hand. There was barely a mark on it because the spoon broke. She gave me a hug and said grandma felt terrible. I just nodded and didn't say anything. That was the last time I ever got the wooden spoon. Actually, that was the last time grandma ever hit me at all. Over the next few weeks, I noticed she was being extra nice to me, making my favorite snacks, letting me stay up later. She never apologized to me directly though, but I could tell she felt guilty, and I never told her the truth. She went the rest of her life thinking she'd lost control and hurt her grandson. I let her sit with that guilt for 30 years. I finally told my parents the real story when I was almost 40. My mom's jaw just dropped. My dad started laughing and said, "You little genius." But I never told grandma. She died still thinking it was her fault. Do I feel bad about it? Not really. She never hit me again and I got away with it. Love you, grandma.